Hi everyone, it's Juliet Glamour's Creations. Thanks for joining me again. My gadget this week is a bit of a sewing system. Here it is. So I'm just about to start this project. It is a cushion and the cushion front is all turned appliqué. So I bought a system a little while ago, but I haven't actually used my own one. I've used somebody else's to practice, but there is a system that is brilliant for turned applique. Let me show you it. So this is it. I think I'm right in saying that it's actually an Italian company, I think, that started Appliquik. And I'll show you how it works. First of all, this is the paper, and these are the tools that I'll be using, the Appliquik rods. So let me show you the paper first of all. So this is the paper. It's woven, it's a woven paper, and it's obviously paper one side, but then it's got a glue. I don't know if you can actually see that. It's quite there we go, shiny. So depending on what you're doing, what you're tracing your applique bits and bobs, if they are reversed, then you would just, that's fine, you would just trace them onto the paper side of this special Appliquik paper. But mine isn't, so mine needs to be reversed. So I've actually traced out the windows of the house onto the glue side, which isn't as bad as Bondweb. I hate doing that on Bondweb because it's all bumpy and you don't get a clean line. But with this, it's quite smooth. It's quite a smooth glue, so it's not a problem. So what you need to do is cut them out. So draw whatever your applique shape is. I'm starting off with something simple, and then you cut it out on the line. Let's do that. So as I said, these are the windows. So I've just traced out 2 of the 4, and then what I'm going to do is I'm using this fabric, the windows, and I'm going to iron the glue side obviously to the back of this fabric. Let's do that. So you iron it onto your fabric, and you do need to leave a scant quarter of an inch around each shape. I'll show you why. Because what you're going to do is you're actually going to fold in these edges around the paper, and that's how you get your turned edge. So you are going to need one of these, which is a glue pen, and I would use a board or some sort of firm surface. So I'm actually using the Quilter's Cut and Press, which is a June Taylor cutting board, but I have actually put a piece of Teflon paper down, or applique sheet down, because I don't want to get glue on my board, but I do want a firm surface. You could do it on a table. Just make sure you protect whatever surface you're doing it on. So this is where our tools come into play for the Appliquik tools. And as you can see, one has like a hoof on it, and this one is pronged. And they're pronged and hoofed for a reason, but they also have a pointy end like that, both of them. Take them out the packet. They both have a pointy end. I'll show you why. So what these tools are going to help you to do is to turn your fabric over, especially on small pieces. So you put your glue stick on the fabric and on the paper. Doesn't matter because it'll air dry and you won't even see it. And with one hand you hold with the pronged end, and with the other stick, the hoof stick, you can then fold over. You're sort of folding just like that. Now I haven't used this, my own tool before, but I have had a practice with somebody that recommended these. Give a shout out Sally Ritchie. She loves this product. So again, you put glue on. You hold down, depending if you're left or right-handed. You hold down with one and you fold over with the other, like that. What this does is just helps you to firm things over and hold down. Now you might think, well, I can do that with my fingers. I don't need special tools. But the smaller the piece, the more difficult it is to do this with your fingers, and more importantly, to get an even surface. So then you can turn it over and you can smooth down just to get a really clean edge. So you would do that all the way. But it does make curves very easy as well. Let me show you. So here's one of my curve pieces. I'm going to be doing, this is a petal of one of the leaves. So I've ironed it on to the wrong side of the fabric. And what I've done, because it's curved, and even if it was a concave or a convex shape, just to trim or snip rather into the seam allowance, not all the way to the paper, otherwise you'll see it on the other side, but just to help it turn and go around those curves. So then you apply your glue. This glue, depending on the temperature of where you're working, does dry quite quickly, so you have to sort of crack on a bit. There we go. And that, all that does is just help it to go curve around that corner. That way you don't get as many puckers to have to sort out. And with a curve, well, you always want to do this anyway. You always want to make sure that the other side is looking great, because that's what you're going to see on your work, isn't it? The other side, so just keep bending it over, bending it over, so really sort of holding it down, smoothing it. And the other side, if you do get any sort of bits where you think it's puckering a little bit, you can use this side to smooth it down. You turn it over and then you have it, a really smooth job. You can smooth it on this side, get a crisp edge, and then what you do is just you sew it onto your work. Once you've done all the way around the shape, you sew it onto your work. Now you might think, well, hold on a minute, now I've got this paper, you know, do I want that in my work? Well, it makes it more stable to sew onto your work, but once you wash it, that really does feel like it's not even there. So it's not an issue, but it just keeps it stable enough to be able to turn the fabric over and be able to sew it onto your work. So it makes it very, very stable, and you get a really good job, a really professional, neat job on your work. So you know what I'll be doing for a little while. So that's a job you can do in front of the telly. If you've got a board on your lap or one of those tea trays, then it makes it a pleasure. You could do something in front of the telly while you're watching your favourite programme, and it's quite therapeutic. I've got quite a lot to get on with because that's the very start of my project. I do love starting a project. Brilliant, love it. And I hope you found that informative. I hope you found it helpful. And any questions, please pop them in the box. I will try and answer them. And if I don't know the answer, which, you know, I don't know every answer, I can try and find out for you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have a great week, everybody. Take care.